The best coaches in the game, we really ain't playing. We regroup up in the Slack chat where the coaches debrief. We be piecing these puzzles, occupy the chunk of the pie. Ain't no lie when we hit the block, helmets, casket, and tie.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Bold Call Fantasy Football DFS Army podcast. My name is Kevin Allen. I am your host, and I got my man, Season Long Says here. And today we are in the final season-long fantasy football show of the year, and we're talking about actual bold calls that we're going to make this season, shocking calls that are going to blow your mind.
Well, let's be straight. It's not the last season-long fantasy football podcast, bold call podcast of the year. It's the last one before the season starts. Yes. What happens is once the season starts, you go into a little bit more DFS mode, and I carry the weight. I take the season-long crew with us, and I do our waiver wire show. And if there's a news and notes briefing, I'll come on, during the week. But we'll be on every Tuesday or Wednesday night. We're not sure yet when we're going to do the waiver wire. We're going to aim for Tuesday, and we will be here giving you the pickups. And also, if you're listening to this podcast, make sure if you're a DFS Army member that you go into the season-long tab, and I will be posting. There's already a waiver wire tab there, and I will have all the bid amounts I suggest for you to go get.
I did not mean we are abandoning our season-long peoples. We got you covered all season long in DFS Army chat with your start-sit questions. Of course, waiver wire, which is the ultimate most important thing you need to really focus on in-season management of your team. Who to start, waiver wire, we've got you covered. But if you haven't drafted your season-long team by now, you're in trouble.
No, it's possible. There's people that do it this night.
Oh, the worst people. They're the worst.
No, I disagree. I think that's fun. It's fun to do.
During the game, I hate it. I've done it before. I am not a fan. I'm just not a fan.
And by the way, this is the debut of our new player props for cash partner, No House Advantage. They are sponsoring this podcast. You can see them if you're watching the video, plastered right on our screen right there. Use code ARMY, and we're going to talk about No House Advantage and why it's one of the more unique player prop sites I've seen out there.
Yep, I've already checked out the format. It's very, very cool. It gives you the ability to sort of weight your favorite props rather than having the house decide which ones will count for the most points in these contests. Hence that No House Advantage concept that they've put together. It's really cool stuff. We'll talk more about that, but you'll check it out. No House Advantage.
Give them some content first. Let's give them some content.
Well, plus they sponsor the pod, so we love them. That's how it goes, man.
Yep. So today you're talking about that we're going to do this is our annual Bold Calls episode, and of course we have the Bold Call podcast. And
wait, hold up, not to be confused with the Bald Calls episode, which happened a few episodes back. Also very important stuff.
Yes. But let's define what a bold call is first. A bold call is not the most outrageous thing that you can think of just for shock value. What it is these are 80th percentile outcomes or greater. So if everything breaks correctly, exactly how we see it, and we're going to give you that narrative of how it will break that way, this is the outcome. Last year, our bold call included our number one hit was Lamar Jackson would finish as the QB1 overall. Now, again,
everybody, wait. I just want to want to take people back to last year. Okay. Before you think that doesn't sound that bold. Lamar Jackson's ADP was QB 16. Okay. QB 16. So if you went by the consensus, you were picking up Lamar Jackson as your number two. No big deal. Sez and I had Lamar Jackson on every single fantasy team that we played last season, except for the ones that we played against one another where I got him.
That's true.
And I beat you. And I have a trophy to prove it.
But which is, by the way, in the background right there. I see it in the. But so anyway, so bold call, again, it's not that we thought Lamar Jackson was a lock to finish as the QB1 last year. We just thought that if everything broke the way and everything that we saw on tape happened, it could happen. Another one we talked about last year was we thought DJ Shark would be a top 24 wide receiver. And as you know, it started off the season, he was like a top 15 wide receiver.
DJ Shark was going ADP like WR50. Okay.
Oh, he was later than that.
He was just not on the radar. He was available on your waivers. Had a great year last year. Great bowl call. You crushed the bowl calls, bro. I'm not even kidding. Yeah,
you know what it was? It's not. I hit 2 good ones. Those were my 2 good ones, and then a couple others didn't pan out. So,
well, my bold call last season was that OJ Howard would make you cry if you drafted him, and that's all I needed to do. Everybody took him. I said, "Why are you taking this guy?" Everybody taking him. I got another one for you. His name is Hayden Hurst, but we'll get into that.
All right.
Can I start with my first one? Hayden Hurst will not be a top 15 tight end this season.
I mean, so you're saying that's a bold call? Like isn't it almost?
I mean, he's going he's projected.
Oh, you're saying he's not going.
I do not think he will crack the top 12.
You know, it's funny. On my bold call list right here, I have that, and it was towards the bottom. But I have Hayden Hurst will finish in the top 5.
Ah.
I won't even mention that one. Even mention it. But okay, so you know what? Let's not just give the bold call. Talk it out a little bit. Why? Right, why do you think? What's the problem?
That wasn't even one of my serious ones, but I do think that will be the case. All right, let me talk through that one then. The Hayden Hurst. Why is he going to finish? Same reason that OJ. This guy has been on a team that drafted him in the first round now for 2 full seasons. Okay. He's had a guy who's got a nasty foot injury for a whole season in Mark Andrews on the field for only 50% of the snaps last year. Did Hayden Hurst step up for the other 50% and do anything? No. Did Hayden Hurst do anything in his first season with the Ravens? No. I don't understand why anybody believes that this guy who has had borderline 0 production. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even that. Like, Nick Boyle was doing more damage for the Ravens than, or is that the name? Nick Boyle?
You got it right. You got it right.
He was doing more damage for the Ravens last season when Andrews was off the field. So I don't get it. I don't understand what anybody sees in Hayden Hurst, why this guy who has essentially been a bust. And actually, I do think I know, and it's the same OJ Howard sickness. It's a bunch of draft nicks who thought this guy had a lot of talent coming out of college, who refused to accept that since he's made it to the NFL, he has done nothing. OJ Howard has done nothing, and Hayden Hurst has done nothing.
So here's the counter argument, and everything you're saying, I can't tell you're wrong because if we were gambling on this, you would be the favorite. Okay. But here's the case for Hayden Hurst. And then we'll get back to the bold calls, is that he tested athletically like a freak. Okay. And they drafted him before Lamar Jackson in the first round that year that they got him. I mean, that's the big joke that they didn't even know that Lamar Jackson was that good. He caught 30 of 39 targets last year. So he has a high catch rate. And what we know is that the Atlanta Falcons, they throw the most in the NFL. Last year, threw 684 times. I mean, that's just beyond the rest of the field. And we do know that Dirk Cutter, same system, likes to feature the tight end. They paid a 2nd-round pick for him, so there is draft capital there. And there's not a huge receiver tree. There's Julio, who's locked into his 170 targets. And then we all project Calvin Ridley to maybe get 130 this year. But Hayden Hurst is going to get 90 targets as a floor. And if he has that same catch rate, and we know that Dirk Cutter likes catch rate tight ends, but Austin Hooper wasn't that great of a tight end. He was just he threw everything you threw at him, he caught. If Hayden Hurst, in a small sample size, can now scale that up, I think we're in business. But you're right. The floor is like the floor bottoms out. There's no floor with him, but I think there's a case to be made for him to be relevant.
What bothers me, and I totally buy your arguments, right? But what bothers me is the speculation. Even if that's the case, and even if there's a scenario where he finishes top 5, which I accept that. I just don't like that he was going as like TE8. I feel like he hasn't earned the right to be taken where he was. I like other tight ends that were going later better. I would have taken Mike Gesicki over him. I would have taken Jonnu Smith over him. I would have taken Chris Herndon over him. I think so many other tight ends had earned the right to have their draft capital moved up a bit, and I don't think he did. I'd have rather, if he was taken TE 17 and he had some upside, I love it. I would have been all over that. The problem for me was it was his ADP. I just get pissed when I see players who haven't earned it get a higher way too high ADP.
Yeah, no, you don't like. You like to see a proven track record. That is your style. Okay. All right. My first bold call is I'm gonna. This is something I started with when we started doing these off-season podcasts in late February, which we do every year. I made a couple of videos about this, and then the market seems to have caught a little bit, but and I don't even want to caveat it with saying if he remains healthy. I'm just going to say Will Fuller finishes as a top 12 wide receiver. Is my bold call. All right. And obviously, because let me just give you the thing, because him staying healthy is part of that 80th percentile. Nobody expects him to stay healthy. And honestly, I really think that he could end up being like a top 6 or 7 wide receiver, but I'm just going to kind of give myself a little room to breathe. Go ahead. And
you and I didn't coordinate these before the show. And I almost want to show you what I have written on my paper.
No, don't. Oh, you have them in there? I mean,
except it's so sloppy. It's embarrassing.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I've been on this Will Fuller train. He's my most owned player in basketball. I mean, here's the obvious argument. Here's the path to greatness for him. Obviously, he has to stay healthy. That's the biggest part. I don't think anybody would argue with me that if he stays healthy, he's the number 1 target, presumably, and they're high value targets. No one has more league tilting upside than Will Fuller. We're going to see it tonight, hopefully. Deshaun Watson.
Now,
Brandon Cook.
We're dealing with an elite Chiefs pass defense, but the Texans have no one else to throw to. So we might really see that.
Yeah, and
tonight.
Yeah, so that's it. So I'm going to say top 8 wide receiver. I said top 12. Bold call. All right, you're up.
I just want to because I have a Will Fuller one in here. My bold call was Will Fuller will stay healthy for at least 14 games this season and finish as a WR1. So that was one of mine as well, but the actual bold call component, I don't think was that he finishes as the WR1 so much as,
I didn't say the WR1.
I said AWR1. Yeah, I said the same. No, what I mean is that the bold call was he will stay healthy, right? This will be the year. He's going to stretch out the hammy. You have to fucking stretch it out before the game, bro. That's all you got to do. Stretch it out. Stretch out the hammy.
By the way, I see someone in the chat room here, BT. He agrees with you on Hayden Hurst. He thinks Hawkinson would be better than Hurst, and I could see that. And
Hawkinson's going way after Hurst.
Yep.
I mean, he earned it.
Yep.
Same
let's keep it moving.
All right, let me give you another one. I don't know how bold or crazy this is. You tell me. Kenyon Drake, a.k.a. the Dreezy, going to finish as a top 5 RB, not just in PPR, but in all formats.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? I think anyone that you're taking in the top 2 rounds could finish there. So I think it's
not bold enough?
No, it's not bold enough for this show. It's a bold call because because we're higher on him. I think you could a bold call would have been more like he's going to finish as the RB1, and I think you can rightfully say that since you've been pumping the Drake.
I love the Drake, but I mean, I love my my Christian McCaffrey. I can't give anybody number 1 status.
Think about this.
Can I go top 3? Is that bolder?
Yes. No, that's fine. That's good.
I'm going top 3.
Next one. And this one I really do believe is a greater than 80th percentile, but we'll just call it 80th percentile. And that's that Dak Prescott is going to finish as the overall QB1. And this one, it's every year, in the last couple of years, it's been about finding that guy in the 10th round. Pat Mahomes in 18, Lamar Jackson in 19. And that guy just doesn't exist in the 10th round. I mean, the closest might be Daniel Jones. We could talk about him after, but I really think that Dak Prescott's 6th round ADP, he belongs in that fantasy tier with those two. He's got all the weapons. When CeeDee Lamb fell to them, it just more and more, what do they say? An embarrassment of riches of offensive weapons. He's playing for the big time contract. The fact that he didn't get signed long term, I think, is a good thing. I'm not a big believer in contract year players, but he's actually playing for for lifelong wealth. And I think that this is going to be an epic year for Dak Prescott from a fantasy perspective. And my bold call, Dak Prescott, overall QB1.
That's bold. That's a bold call right there. There's a lot of competition. All right, you ready for another one?
Yep. And then after this one, we'll do a quick break and tell you about No House Advantage.
Some of these bold calls would make for really interesting props, but you'd have to get a little bit of odds on them, right?
Yeah, of course.
Maybe over No House Advantage. See if we can get a little odds on these props. Get a little multiplier going. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Jerry Judy will finish ahead of Cortland Sutton in PPR scoring for the 2020 football season. Fantasy scoring, you can get him 55, 6, 7, 8 rounds later, I don't even know. He will outscore Courtland Sutton. Bold call.
Yeah. No, and by the way, Sutton got hurt today. He went to the locker room, so that might actually end up being like a favorite. But yeah, no, I'm sure he's going to be fine. He had a shoulder injury, but yeah, no, Courtland Sutton is going in the end of round 5, beginning of round 5, somewhere in there. Jerry Judy, rookie, playing with Drew Lock, who nobody likes. You and I both believe Judy it should have been a top 2 or 3 dynasty, a rookie pick. I love it. It definitely is a bold call because that's not what the market believes, but it doesn't shock me, Geek. We talk about Jerry Judy all the time. We love him. We love his route running ability.
I think he's really super ready, and I think he fits that offense even better than Courtland Sutton does.
All right, let's take a minute to talk about our sponsor, and then we'll get back to the bold calls. If you love props, everyone listening, we love to play prop games, and we just came across a new one called No House Advantage. And the minute I saw this game, we called them up. We said that, we have to do something with you guys because we love this game so much. So I'm going to advise everyone to go download the No House Advantage. And what it really is that you download the app for free, okay? You make a deposit using the code ARMY. You get a $20 match. And what's so unique about the game is that you pick 5 player props, and then you order them and which one is your favorite prop. So your favorite prop will get you 5 points. Your second favorite prop is 4 points, 3, and all the way down to 1. And you choose the prop that you want. Each player, for example, Geek, tonight, Travis Kelce, he has a yardage prop and a receptions prop. You could pick which one of those props you want, and you could pick if you want the under or over that prop. And you could place it in the 5-pointer or the 1-pointer or wherever you want. That's what I love about it, is that the house is not telling me which ones to wait.
Big difference with some other prop style fantasy sites where you just wind up with some that you're not as confident in, but you're not able to weight those. You're always forced to make a bunch of choices, but sometimes, this is a lock, right? And so you're able to weight them. That's a really cool format, and it adds a little element of personal knowledge, a little more customization, and takes away that house advantage.
Yeah, so go download No House Advantage now. Use code ARMY. Get a match on deposit up to $20. Try it out, guys. I guarantee this is one of those games that you're going to become addicted to. It's a nice little side sweat, and we thank them again for checking out. For sponsoring the podcast. All right, what we'll do is they put together a nice little video. We'll play it a little bit later, but let's get back to the bold calls. Let's give some people some more content, okay?
I've got a pretty wacky one here.
Are you up or am I up? I think I'm up.
Wait. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Hit me.
So, all right. I got a couple here, but I think that I like, one of our favorite strategies, Geek, is to target sophomore, second-year wide receivers that didn't do anything in year 1 and then have a chance to break out in year 2. DJ Shark was that guy last year. I think Miles Boykin is that guy this year, and I believe that Miles Boykin is going to finish in the top 36 of wide receivers, meaning he's a fantasy starter. And I'll tell you what the path is. They're presumably going to pass a little bit more. Not saying they're not going to run the ball, but you can't throw every pass to Marquise Brown. He profiles more as, the Deshaun Jackson type, or even like the Odell Beckham type, where he takes a slant and go. Miles Boykin is 6'4". In Notre Dame, he was a complete monster. Wide receivers take a little bit to get up to speed. They have nobody else. They did draft Devin Duvernay, but none of the receivers there, including Mark Andrews, profile like 6'4" Miles Boykin. I think he's the guy that we didn't even think about. I mean, I know there's some fans out there of Miles Boykin, and you took him in the last round of your best ball drafts. I think this guy could be. He'll have. I don't think he'll be as good as DJ Shark breakout last year, but I think he is going to be a player that. He's going to be on the week 1 or week 2 or week 3 waiver wire, and you're going to want him. He's going to be one of those receivers that really does break out.
I absolutely love that call. In my general best ball strategy discussions and in my notes, I definitely pointed out a lot of Miles Boykin is the exact type of guy that you want in your best ball leagues. Obviously, those are done drafting now, but he's exactly the type of player because you got him in the last round. He's on the most explosive offense in the National Football League, and he's on the field most of the time. Did he do a lot last season? No, but if you remember, the passing volume was so low for that team last year, it really couldn't support much more than 1 or 2 guys per game. He just wasn't throwing a lot. every year, I do believe we'll see the progress with Lamar, where he's able to throw a little bit better, a little bit more than the previous year. I love Boykin as a breakout candidate. Really great choice there, and a really bold call. Absolutely.
All right.
Love it.
Let's continue on with the No House Advantage Props for Cash bold call episode.
All right. This one's a little wacky one, so bear with me because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but yet here we are. Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp will both finish as top 15 wide receivers in PPR format. But somehow Jared Goff will not manage to crack the top 12 quarterback.
You know why? Again, I love that call, by the way. And that is a great call. And I'll tell you why that's a good call, and then you can go into your explanation. Is because if you remember back to the month of November last year, do you know how many touchdowns Jared Goff had in the month of November last year?
I don't.
Take a guess. It's low.
Zero?
It's zero. It's
okay.
Zero.
Yeah.
Okay, so both of those players could finish with tremendous PPR and yardage totals, and Jared Goff could not throw it in the end zone. So I think that's how it happens. I love that call.
I think it's a very, very focused offense with these two guys, and I believe Higbee. We'll see if that comes together, but I'm expecting 10 to 12 targets a game. A lot of times, potentially for both these guys, they just don't spread the football around that much anymore with the Rams. It's a very focused offense, and I think you can get there in PPR. I love both the wide receivers. They're both WR1s, and I could just see them getting there, but somehow Goff just manages to screw it up and not get sucked along to the top 12. But I think the boldest part is just I do think both of those wide receivers, two wide receivers, same team, will finish top 15 at the position group.
Bold call. I love it. Let's continue on. Okay. So I have one that I've been talking about this player since the beginning of the draft season. He's on a good amount of my best ball teams. He's a running back. Okay. And why are you laughing?
My daughter just walked in the room. So
okay.
The podcast.
All right. So no big deal. But I like Raheem Mostert, but I think that he is fool's gold in the 5th round. I don't see the upside with him. And the fact that he doesn't catch passes is just disastrous in a PPR league. And we saw how good Matt Breida was and he played in the Shanahan system, the Kyle Shanahan system. I think that my 80th percentile outcome, my bold call, is that Jerick McKinnon will have the most fantasy points of any San Francisco running back in PPR leagues by the end of the season. Bold call.
That's super bold. So I love it. Do I agree with it? No.
Can you see an 80th percentile? Like if all things go right, I'm talking about this guy is a supreme pass catcher. He's been injured for 2 years. He was one of those guys that took a long time to heal. They actively went out and got him. They got rid of Matt Breida because Jerick McKinnon has been healthy. All reports in camp are that Jerick McKinnon is just lighting. The linebackers can't stay with him. The safeties can't tackle him, and he's just lightning quick. And what is Kyle Shanahan like? He likes speed. We consider him a bust but think about that year that he was healthy. He was going in
the end of the 1st round.
And I would say the middle of the 2nd round, right? Yeah. He is back to being that guy.
I mean, there was a time when he was known to DFS Army enthusiasts and members as J-Rock McPwinnon because he was pointing, when he stepped in for the Vikings, I believe it was. So
just remember, these aren't likely. These are bold calls.
Yeah, I think
everything.
It's a bold call. It's not outside of the realm of possibility. Will it probably take some sort of an injury ahead of him to really get him there? Yeah, but how unlikely is it that one of Coleman or Mostert gets hurt over the course of the season? It's not very unlikely. So I think he can get there. It might take an injury. If not, I think we're going to get 3 guys who are all getting a lot of touches and sucking up each other's.
But who's the guy that's likely to have 60+ catches of those 3? Mostert doesn't catch passes, and Coleman's never been a good pass catcher.
No, it's all McKinnon. If they want to throw the football to the running back position,
which
it's going to be McKinnon all day.
And then, I see Buffo on the beat, and they just reminded me to remind you, just hit the like button on this video, share it with a friend, or just share it wherever you're watching on YouTube, on Twitter. It helps us out greatly. It just helps us get the word out there. and it helps us know that you're enjoying the content. And then, so if you're finding value in this video, just do us a favor. The return, how you could repay us, is just clicking like, sharing it, all the YouTube stuff that you're supposed to do.
Like and subscribe, guys. Let us know you're there. It's really, really important. It helps us get noticed. And one day maybe we'll be doing a serious radio show or something, because
this is
you guys
you mean serious?
Subscribe.
You mean
serious,
like serious
satellite radio, not a serious show. Now my phone is going to start going serious. Leave me alone, Siri. All right, take it easy over there.
So why don't we go? You go one, I go one, and then you'll close it out. So we'll do 3 more bold calls.
Well, I'm done with my bold calls. That's
okay,
I've that's my list. I came with 5.
All right. So how about this? I'll put this for you, and then you can give me. I have a couple like fantasy prediction questions for you.
All right, there we go.
All right. Which rookie wide receiver? Oh, you actually started Judy. So which rookie running back? So you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you have J.K. Dobbins, and you have DeAndre Swift. All right. And then who else? We have Cam Akers is up there. There's Zach Moss. There's all these great running backs. And if I didn't name your favorite rookie running back, that's fine. Let's throw out the first 5 weeks of the season, starting in week 6 through 16. Which running back? Order them in the order that you would want them, starting in week 6 forward.
All right. So I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is just head and shoulders above everybody else. He's already got the role. He looks the part. That's my guy. Easily. But number 2, I'm going to surprise you a little bit. I like Swift as the number 2 potential best scoring running back of this draft class. Again, no one can really compete with Helaire if he's healthy and his role stays. DeAndre Swift, I believe, is going to be the guy. Detroit, not known for producing a ton of points at the running back position, but the one thing they did excel at was PPR points to the running back, and I believe that Swift will fill that role in addition to more of a potential even goal line back role.
Yeah. So do you have any issue that or does it get you nervous at all that Adrian Peterson was signed there? I mean, he's still a pretty good 2-down back.
No, it's annoying because it almost does say that maybe the Lions do want to kind of like smash in the goal line with some slow old running back like what Adrian Peterson is. So I hope that's not the case, but I think that might be just because Kerryon Johnson is so fragile.
Right. That's what I was going to say, is that it probably is more of an indictment on Kerryon Johnson. Yeah. Also, their Thunderman, their big back, Bo Scarborough, was put on IR, so that probably prompted the move.
Well, that's what I said. It's going to be the Lions just really destroy their running back. I mean, just remind me, they destroy their running back position by needing a, quote, Thunderman, like some slow, unathletic LeGarrette Blount in his last season type of player who doesn't deliver anything, can't actually score on the goal line because he's too fat and unathletic, but yet they want to put him out there because somebody told them that you need a big, slow, powerful running back at the goal line, when maybe that's not really the case.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. That's a great way.
I have another one that I'm going to throw out here.
Please do. Please do.
I've said this before. I don't think it's bold, but Jonathan Taylor drafters will be disappointed. He will not deliver anywhere near the RB 12 or so-ish value compared to his ADP. What was his ADP? RB 15?
Overall, he was going in, like, I think it was like pick 33. It might have even been early, like 30. It was probably closer to, because so many running backs went in the first round, it's probably like RB like 15 to 18.
Yeah, he was going behind. He was going ahead of names like Todd Gurley, names like Melvin Gordon, names like James Conner.
He was included right after the Big 14. He was like in that Big 14.
Yeah. My next bold call is Jonathan Taylor drafters will be wildly disappointed this season.
Yeah. I mean, but I understand the upside's tantalizing. I mean, we were big J.K. Dobbins guys coming out. We were big DeAndre Swifts. We loved them. Taylor just went to a really good spot with a good Indianapolis line. And eventually I think Jonathan Taylor is probably one of the more likely guys to be a late first round pick next year. But that's probably because Marlon Mack will be gone. Hey, that's a good question. This is a question that I've been asking our guests on the podcast. Name a player outside of the top 36 ADP, so someone going in the 4th round or later, that you think is a lock or a good chance to be a first-round pick in 2021 for redraft.
I want to go. I want to go to the running back position for this, and I think it's J.K. Dobbins. I think he's an absolute stone cold lead pipe lock to be a top 12 guy next season, assuming the team kind of moves away from Mark Ingram as this season progresses.
And even in like startup dynasty drafts, I think he'll be a fringe first rounder too. I think I could see him going at like pick 11 to like 13, 14 in startup dynasties next year. So
absolutely, I like that.
All right, man. So like I said, go to you want to do all the DFS Army promo?
There we go. So yeah, it's currently Thursday. Kickoff is tonight, hours away. We're super excited. We've got content galore. We've already done a full showdown strategy episode. We've done a full showdown for tonight's showdown with myself, millionaire, actual DraftKings millionaire himself, Bobby Wow, and DFS Up North, who is spectacular game theory DFS minds, breaking down every showdown of the season. Our cheat sheets are live. Our research station is live. All of the NFL content is exploding right now. So get in there, DFS Army, promo code GEEK. You get 20% off. You get every sport, chat, advice from pros, everything included. It's an awesome deal if you want to do well in DFS. And of course, our season-long NFL content is included in our VIP package. You've got season-long says in there, answering questions, waiver wire stuff, sit, start, who do I sit, who do I start, how do I win my league? Says, help me. He's there to help you. That's what he does.
And also, yeah, and if you want to get me on Twitter as well, it's at Alan Seslowsky, AlanSeslowsky. I do my best to get back to everyone. But I'm saying is but I do my best to get back to you. But in the Slack chat is where I'm at. That's where I'm answering all the questions for you.
I love it.
All right. So to close out, I'm just going to play a quick promo spot for our amazing new sponsor, No House Advantage. I really wish them the best of luck. These guys are awesome guys. Use code ARMY when you sign up. Do us a favor. If you just go check out their interface, you're going to fall in love with it. Play the game tonight. They have some really good props up there for golf, for NBA, for baseball, for just everything across the board. But you got to play little prop games at No House Advantage for tonight. All right, man. I'll talk to you next time.